What's going on, guys? It's DigiWatch TCG coming to you with another deck profile. Now, I'm pretty excited because we do get EX-3 next week, and we're going to be playing Imperialdramon, or at least I'm going to be playing Imperialdramon at my locals and trying it out. I do really like the deck. I'm a big Imperialdramon fan, and so I'm excited for this set. So, with that said, please like, subscribe. We're going to be talking about this deck, some choices, some options. As you can see, we have 60 out of 50 cards. So the last 10 are going to be cards that you can play in this deck, but are not in my initial build. So with that said, please like, subscribe, leave your thoughts below, and let's get into it. So starting off with the eggs, we're playing purple base Demi-Miramon. Now the reason I'm choosing purple is because you do want to trash a lot in this deck. You want to get your pieces to trash, and you want more selection of it, which is why we're going for a draw one, trash one kind of effect. And on deletion, that's fine. You get to draw, and you get to be able to get rid of whatever you like in your hand, or what you want in your trash and what you want to hold on to your hand. So I do think that's a good egg. Going into our level 3s, I guess we want to call this the generic area, the generic level 3s, which we're going to play 2 Gazimon, 2 Cyclone, because there are decks that gain memory, and there are decks that hard play. There's Digicross that's still in effect, and even like Gazimon can kind of stop against stuff like Jessmon with the sister wands, unless it gets deleted by an effect. But I do think both of these are good choices to at least to start with, and of course you can change the ratios up and try other Digimon at some point in the future. Now going into our first level 3 of the new set is the Wormmon. Now this is probably the best on play effect out of the entire deck, and it can digivolve from purple or red. It's a 3 cost to play, which is all really good. On play, reveal the top 3 of your deck, add 1 red or purple card with free in its traits, or 1 card with Imperialdramon in its name from among them to your hand, and trash 1 card following the same requirements, meaning it has to be red or purple with free in its traits. So I do like this because the way the deck kind of plays out is that you do want like one of your level 4s in your trash and one of your level 4s in your hand, and the same thing applying to your level 5s. You want one of the level 5s and one in your hand, and one of the level 5s in your trash. And then all turns, if you have a red Digimon in play, which all your level 5s and 6s do, gain retaliation. So very good on that end. The other level 3 that we're playing is 4 copies of the new Vmon. This is kind of the Dorumon effect of trash 1, draw 2. Except instead of X antibody, it's going to be Imperialdramon or free in its traits, and then you just draw 2, and then it has an inherited of if you have a purple Digimon in play, this Digimon gets 2000 DP. So very good on either end of it. I do like both of these cards, and we're playing them at max, the max count of 4. Going into our generic level 4s, we are playing the Scatter Mode package, or Scattermon package, which is Eismon Scatter Mode, draw 3, trash 2. As I said, you want to be selective of what you're trashing from your hand, because you do want to have at least one of your new level 4s in hand and the other one in your trash. And then Eismon, of course, if it gets trashed itself from your hand while Scatter Mode is in your trash, you can play it out, so it gives you the extra body on field. Now, going into our new level 4s, we have Shadramon. I think it's how you say it, Shadramon. And we have Flamedramon. And the reason I'm talking about both of them is because they both have the same exact effect. So I'm going to talk about Flamedramon, but I'm just going to talk about the only difference between the two. So you can digivolve both from red or purple. It's a 5 cost to play and 5000 DP. And then activate one of the following effects. One of your other Digimon may digivolve into a purple level 4 Digimon card with free its traits from your trash for its Digivolution cost. You may DNA Digivolve this Digimon and one of your other Digimon in play into a Digimon card in your hand by paying the DNA Digivolution cost, and then end of your turn is a DNA with another Digimon, which will come into form in a second. But basically the only difference between this one and the Shadramon that I talked about before is that instead of Digivolving into a purple level 4, it's a red level 4 for the purple one. So they just reverse the colors, but that's the only difference between the two. You play 4 of each because you're basically going to Digivolve on to your one level 3 on the field, and then you should have another level 3 on the field. So what you're supposed to do is Digivolve onto this, Digivolve this, bring Digivolve the second Digimon, whatever's in your trash, either or, into the other one. The other one activates the effect to DNA, and then you're going to DNA. And then you're going to go into your level 5s, which we're going to talk about now. which now our DNA is our Dinobemon and Paliodramon, which are literally the mirror of each other, except for the inherits and the choices that you can take. So basically, I'm just going to talk about this card, but they're both the same. You DNA from purple and red. When DNA Digivolving, play one Paliodramon from your trash without paying its memory cost. So what happens with this is that when you're playing the Paliodramon, it's basically the exact same thing, except you're bringing back a Dinobemon. And then the deletion effect is play one Wormmon from your trash without paying a memory cost. The Paliodramon plays a Vmon from your trash. So they're both kind of like the same, again, the same kind of effect. Come on, there we go. That gets deletion. It just is more of the evolution line. Which is totally fine. If it gets deleted, it gets deleted. But if you just, but it basically brings the other one back. So you do want one of these trash and one of them in hand, which again is why you want selection. Now going into the inherits for Dino B is that while this Digimon has Imperialmon in its name, it can also attack your opponent's unsuspended Digimon, whereas Paliodramon has Security +1 with Imperialdramon in its name. Keep in mind that your Imperialdramon is going to basically use both of these because of the level 4 being able to DNA, and you're going to be DNA into this guy here. And this one is your big boss monster of the set. It's Imperialdramon Dragon Mode. I think that this one should definitely be a play set for if you do want to see it, and it does shuffle back in the deck with a couple of effects. But you DNA for 0 from a level 5 purple and a level 5 red. It's 12,000 DP, 12 to play, 4 to Digivolve normally, but most of the time you're going to go in just the DNA Digivolution line. But basically, when DNA Digivolving, your opponent chooses one of their Digimon, destroy all the other Digimon other than the chosen Digimon, then Blitz. So it's able to attack even if it passes memory to your opponent, which is why it's okay to pass turn with this deck. Then, when attacking, you can pay, it gets 2,000 additional DP for the turn. Then it can Digivolve into one Imperialdramon Fighter Mode in your hand for the Digivolution cost. I think that's definitely really good, and we're going to talk about this is basically your win con right here, is Imperialdramon Fighter Mode. It's 13,000 DP, can Digivolve from purple, red, 5 costs for each, and then it has an alternate Digivolution line, Digivolving cost of 2 from Dragon Mode. So what's really cool about this, I'll just mention it now, I was going to talk about it later, but I'll just mention it here, is that you can actually throw this into a blue-green Imperialdramon deck, and this would still work the same because all it needs is the alternate Digivolution line of Dragon Mode. Maybe you just want to throw one of these in, but giving it the ability to do its effect with piercing is just really, really powerful. So you may want to try splashing this in a blue-green Imperial and just see how it works. But yeah, it gets piercing all turns, and then when Digivolving, by returning one fighter Dragon Mode from the sources to the bottom of your deck, it doesn't activate security effects on the cards it checks for the turn. So keep in mind that you're attacking either an unsuspended or suspended, but with Dino B, you're still being able to attack it, and you're doing at least 2 checks to security. So then this one over here basically will not activate any security effects, whether they're Tamer, Digimon, or Option, for the turn. So at the very least, you're doing piercing, getting rid of their big boss monster they had on the field, and also being able to do security checks to your opponent's Digimon. Then on deletion, play a Wormmon and a Vmon from your trash without paying the memory cost, and both those are on plays still activate. So you can activate both of them and get your turn ready for the next turn. Then that's pretty much the end of the actual the core, other than the generic cards over here that I talked about. You basically can change the ratios however you like, but that's mainly how you want to play. You definitely want to play max out on all these cards, in my opinion, though. Going into I guess you could say this is the first part of your choices and how you want to set it up, is 2 Death X's. You could evolve from 6, or you could hard play it for reduced costs for every card Tamer and Digimon your opponent has. And then when Digivolving or on play, de-Digivolve 1 of all your opponent's Digimon, then delete all your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon, and then end of your opponent's turn. Once returned, delete all of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest play cost. I like this because there is a deck coming out called Dragon Link, and Dragon Link can actually really hurt this deck because what it can do is de-Digivolve the field, and then if it doesn't destroy anything, then your opponent will actually they can't Digivolve on the next turn. So what that kind of does is makes you just basically have to hard play something, and I think that this is probably the best bet, because this card over here is a choice of just hard playing it or digivolving it. And they have another card. I forgot its name. It's a red card, but basically it says you can't play cards if it doesn't delete anything. So you can digivolve or hard play it and still gain the same effect. So that's why I'm playing it, but there are definitely other options you can go with as well. You got Night Raid over here. Play one level 3 Digimon from your trash. Play cost 3. Sorry, let me rephrase that. I got a little confused. Night Raid is this. Play one level 3 from your trash. On play does not activate. It's a 2 cost to play and it activates in security as well. Same thing. So this is a really good card right now. And it just, if they hit in security, you can kind of bring back one of your level 3s and just continue with that on your end. So it can kind of come out of nowhere and stop your opponent in its tracks. We have Calling because Calling can recycle pieces that you're missing or maybe get hit in security. Maybe you're missing a dragon mode or a fighter mode. You return it back. So this is always a good card to have in there. We have Miss Memory Boost over here. That trashes the top 2. Draw 1 and then gain 2 memory as a delay. You definitely don't want to get choked at 1. So I'm playing 2 of these right now. But I'm trying to find alternate means of gaining additional security. Memory. We have Tai Kamiya here. Start your turn if you have 2 or less memories set to 3. The reason I have it also is because it gives your Imperialdramon fighter mode 1 additional check. So 3 checks that nothing can activate in security is obviously very good. And if I didn't mention it before, by the way, the fighter mode can attack. It goes up to 17 because if you have Vmon, if you have the dragon mode, it's going to be a 4,000 boost. So that's pretty good. Now that's the then we have Analog Youth, kind of the same thing. You look at the top 3, get something you need, trash the rest, and then if one of your level 5s or higher gets deleted by an effect or deleted, you can suspend this tamer, gain a memory, hatch an egg. Gives you a little bit of recursion, but I'm not sure if I really want to run him. I'm not exactly sure. Just seeing if I can put more cards in here that will gain me more memory would be very nice. I just have to figure out how and what cards. We have Omnimon here. This is just another option. I'm not totally convinced this is going to work with the deck because in most cases you're already blitzing and most of the time you're passing turns. So you may want to consider running this, but this is probably one of my low end cards. And by the way, if I didn't mention Analog Youth, that's the end of the official deck. Now these are like kind of like some choices I'm just suggesting. Labramon over here is another good choice instead of playing a Floodgate. So maybe you take the Gazimons out if there's not a lot of memory gain in this format. It gets you a draw 1, trash 1, so it can fix your hand. It can get a piece on the field and a piece in the trash, which is what you want to do in this deck. Impmon is our new security Digimon that comes out at some point. I don't know exactly when it comes out. I don't think it's been announced yet, unless I missed it. I'm not sure. But at the end of battle, you can play 1 level 3 from your trash without paying the memory cost. And guess what? It doesn't stop the on-play effect, so you can bring back a Wormmon, you can bring back a Floodgate, you can bring a Labramon, and then trigger the effect, and then this adds to hand, so you do have a level 3 in hand. So that's always very, very good. And I think what I'd do is I'd probably cut the Gazimons, or one of the Psychmons, one of the Gazimons, to put a few of these in there if I have a chance. Now, you may be looking at this and saying, why is there a fighter mode in here? And the reason is because it can digivolve from a dragon mode. It's kind of the same reason I just mentioned before, in that you can actually use this in a blue-green deck. Well, the opposite is the same true. You can throw this into this deck if you wanted to try it out, because this is really only level 6 you're going to digivolve into. It can't normally digivolve on top of a red or purple, so it doesn't really make it very, very consistent. And again, it's not a best option. I'm just talking about multiple options, like other choices you can go into in this deck. But if you go into dragon mode, you can digivolve into this, bounce a Digimon with 10,000 DP or less. It doesn't get the unsuspending effect, so that's the only thing about it, is that you wouldn't trigger the blue or the green effect because there's no blue or green underneath it. But it does, it's not that bad in terms of an overall choice. It's just probably getting lower on the list. Well, my top end is more toward the bottom here. So Omnimon Zort, I like this a lot actually in the deck because you trash the top 3, and then you can bring 2 purple Digimon or black Digimon back with a play cost of 8 or less. And then it has an attacking effect of deletion one of your opponent's unsuspended Digimon, so that's pretty good as well. But the reason why I like that too is that you can actually bring back the Dino Bee and the Pyodramon. Both of them, you can bring them back in the same turn, possibly if it's still your turn somehow. For that to happen, actually, you'd have to have 6 memory to be able to keep it your turn. But I do like the chance that you can pull this over here. You have the Omnimon X antibody as another good choice. This is really good because it doesn't, even if it gets suspended or suspended by, or sorry, not suspended, stunned or suspended by an effect, you can still negate the attack on top of your Imperialdramon fighter mode. And I think you'd probably have two, let's see, two level 3s, two level 4s, two level 5s, two level 6s. So you have 4 checks that you can actually block and negate, and then when attacking, you can actually delete a Digimon with 15,000 DP or less. So that's not bad. I do think that this is a kind of an interesting effect that you can run in here. Another good one is Omnimon Zord Defeat. You can play from security, which is nice. Digivolve for 3, so it's very cheap to Digivolve on top of. Delete a Tamer, so it does hit a lot of boxes. It may be something you want to consider. Playing, I know that it took a little bit of a nap when other things were coming out, but I do like it. Omnimon Merciful Mode is another choice. Not again, not a hugely recommended card, but it does have the ability to delete opponent's Digimon. I just think some of the other cards do a little bit better job of that. And then you could trash the top of your opponent's security. And it can digivolve from an Omnimon. So if you run multiple Omnimons, like you run this one here, you can digivolve on top. I think, yeah, for 3 on top of an Omnimon, regardless of the color. This is just more for its level 6 component of green, yellow, blue, and red. But I think the most likely the card I'm going to be probably starting off with is the Omnimon X antibody, and the main reason is because it gives you an alternate means of removal, and I think that actually is a very good thing in this deck. Return all your opponent's Digimon with the highest level to the bottom of the owner's deck in any order. So this gets rid of a bunch of problem cards that your opponent might run at you, and then of course you can do this up to twice because you do have 2 level 6s underneath it in like, you know, if you have everything in the right order. So you can use this effect twice by trashing, looking at their security, getting rid of a problem card, and then doing the check, or just doing that to get rid of something on your opponent's side. And what's more about this is actually that it's a 16,000 DP, so it can run over a lot of other cards if your opponent's running anything that's like 15,000 or more, which I do actually like having that effect over there. So that's like the choice fair. And then lastly, I just threw in Crimson Blaze because I think it is still a relevant card. Stops your opponent from doing things like playing cards by effects, um, and also being able to delete like your opponent's board if they decide to go wide. I don't know what I would take out for it right now, but I do think that it's something that I'm going to be experimenting with. Maybe I'll get rid of one of the night raids and try that out and play the Crimson Blaze here. So that's the deck profile for now. Again, it's more of a build theory right now, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and have a good one, guys.